My name is Em, and I'm here to host Vulva Awareness Day. And this is a knitted vulva. Did you ever think you'd see the day? Isn't it amazing? And this cake down here is also a vulva. Amazing. Amazing. Kath Mozzella made these. She's one of our speakers today. So if you thought the vulva was just something that was hidden and boring, think again. Knitted. Brooch. Vulva Awareness Day, very important, and I'm very proud to be here hosting it.
Right, well, hold on to your knickers, everybody, because our first guest speaker is an amazing woman. It is Mrs. Kath Mozzella, and she, I guess, you're the driving force and founding member behind Gain, fair to say?
I was, yes.
A woman who knits vulvas, who takes scratches, and we want to say thank you for being here. We know it's important to you, and we want to hear about your journey, I know, with vulvar cancer and your commitment and participation in Gain. So give it up for Kath.
Thank you for that. I actually didn't knit the vulvas. They come all the way from America for other women who've had vulval cancer in America. So this is not just here in Perth. Have you ever yearned for something so bad that you would do anything to get it? For 15 years, I've yearned, and with Gain's third Vulval Awareness Day, I cannot describe how it feels to stand here today with medical professionals and community women to be better informed of vulval, gynecological and sexual health knowledge, something that is long overdue in our community. No one will ever know, or except my husband and mother and sister here today, the challenges it's taken to get here. But no one ever knew that the more rejection and obstacles I was given, I always kept my eyes on the prize, and the prize is the celebration here today, to see the girls all working together and me just sort of sitting in the background watching. The Vulval Awareness Day brings a voice to assist in breaking down the barriers of gynecological sexual health, to bring life to this area of the body, out of the unknown or unmentionable, and give it recognition and status it really deserves. After all, the vulva is where all life begins, and yet I wish we could have this room full of women to learn more about the vulva and the empowerment behind the vulva. By not speaking about this part of our body or acknowledging it, it can suppress emotions, disempower and cause significant psychological, physical health problems. I've seen many women come to me as broken shells, and once they get the understanding and knowledge about this, they can move on with their lives. The day like today can highlight the stigmas and misconceptions and taboos, how we can all work together to break down the barriers and with the accurate knowledge of this part of our body. We need an open mind approach with lessons to be learned and the work that is yet to be done. I'll just share a little bit about my story and why Gain was established. In 1994, I had an abnormal pap smear and popped off to have my cervix lasered, and I remember going out and thinking, well, what was that all about? But I just got on like most women do and we don't question. But then in 1994, I had to have a radical vulvectomy, which tipped my life upside down and inside out. I had to find out who I was and how I fitted in society. But how can you fit in society that don't even acknowledge that the vulva exists and that it's called a vagina? I mean, I've even spoken at a sexual health conference in Sydney a couple of years ago, and the doctors were still calling it a vagina. And to me, it's like calling a penis a testicle. They're two different things. So why are we still out there? And I thought, well, what was this all about? It wasn't until after my surgery I discovered on my medical records that I had human papillomavirus and was explained that that is a sexually transmitted infection and it's very common. But when I went to the women's groups to say, well, if it's so common, how come women don't know about it? But I was told that women don't need to know about that and just to call it an abnormal pap smear because we don't want to frighten women. I thought, but I wish I had been frightened and explained better before I had my genitals removed. We all hear about the connection of cervical cancer, yet rarely women are informed that HPV is a connection to vulval cancer. And okay, they may not happen, vulval cancer may be very rare, but if you're the one that does get vulval cancer, it's sort of like a violation that we don't know the knowledge and understanding. So, like most women with gynecological cancers and conditions, we know very little about down there until something happens. So I set out to make a difference in the world. I soon found another woman who had the same radical operation as me, and we've become lifelong friends. And this is what we need to do, is connect women up with a similar condition so we can share with each other, because that's what women do. I found a brochure, most diagrams of the reproductive health doesn't have the vulva in it. And I had to question why that was so. And I soon found a word called pudendum, and the Latin version of that word says female genitalia, one who should and ought to be ashamed, the shameful part. Well, I don't stand here with any shame whatsoever, and the other women that have come before us, they don't have this shame once they sort of get a better understanding and we can share with each other. I placed an ad in the Women's Day, and I heard all these terrible, terrible stories of women suffering, and yet nothing was being done about it. There was no voice. So I sneaked into the Sheraton Hotel when they had a sexual health conference, and I was blown away with the information that was there, and I looked out the window and I thought, but why don't people know this out in the community? So from that, I'm pleased that the New South Wales Cancer Council asked me to do a talk over there, and they've changed their brochure, and they now have a diagram of a vulva on the front cover. One small step for womankind. I was invited to America to the No One Alone Gynecological Conference, and I came back to Australia, and I thought, well, where to from here? So that's when I formed GAIN, and I have to say Ian Hammond was very supportive. I think he was wondering where we're going with it all in the beginning, but he's been very, very supportive over the years, and I just want to say thanks to the GAIN committee. I rang Amanda Vanstone's office and I said, well, what can I do about this? And she said, well, form a support group and have a National Gynecological Awareness Day. And I said, but how do I do that? She said, well, just declare it. So I did. So we now have we're actually working towards an International Gynecological Awareness Day. Just wanted to share a couple of obstacles that I've had to face so that we learn about this so we can move on. I was once told that GAIN was trying to demedicalise gynecology, and yet we had the support from wonderful gynecologists, and I couldn't understand why we were doing that. I was asked to call it reproductive health and not gynecological health. This is not about having babies, this is about women's issues. I was told to call it a vagina and not a vulva, but after 15 years I'm still campaigning to have the vulva on some brochures. I went to the Senate roundtable discussion through GAIN, and I said we were having a Vulva Awareness Day, and I was asked by a doctor in the car park if I would consider calling it a Female Genital Awareness Day. I said, well, it was too late because I'd already in the Zonta, one Zonta Women of the Year, and National Council of Women, and the Catholic Hospital St John of God were also promoting the day. So the word had already got out. So the others just have to catch up who are not comfortable with it. I just share about the progress of the International Gynecological Awareness Day. I was able to get the Royal College of Gynecology, we went to visit them, and from that Cornwall Hospital have celebrated the Gynae Awareness Day, and I've got letters of support. We have letters of support from Harvard Medical School, Boston Women's Health Collective, the International Gynae Cancer Society, and the Federation of University Women. That's only a few of them. So I'm just in Cornwall Hospital. They brought in the fire brigade, and somebody said, why would you do that? And I thought, well, why would you not? You know, and so the firemen came in, they picked up the doctor, carried them out to the fire engine, and they all celebrated around the day. And that's what I want to see for every hospital in the world, to do exactly the same, because after all, gynecological health affects millions and millions and millions of women in the world, not to mention the husbands and the partners and the families. So why not give it a voice? So I just want to pat GAIN on the back for moving on, and thanks very much for this day. And viva la vulva. Thank you.
Let's stay here. What was the last thing you said? We missed it.
Viva la vulva.
Good woman. Good woman. Thank you, Kath.